Alright, so we're checking out the DOOGEE S110 rugged smartphone. So this is a lot better spec than the one I reviewed from DOOGEE last year, the S98. Basically, all the specs are improved in this one. You got a bigger battery, bigger screen, more internal memory, more storage. So all around, just a much nicer phone. And this one here has a huge battery. It's a 10,800 milliamp hour battery. It does have 66 watt fast charging. So obviously with a huge battery, you're going to need a pretty big charger. But before we get into all the rest of the specs here, let's quickly go over what comes in the box. So you do get the charger and USB-C cable. This is a 66 watt fast charger. Does come with the, I think this is a Chinese plug here, so you're probably going to need some sort of an adapter for other regions. You get a user's manual here, warranty card. It does come with a 1-year warranty, cleaning cloth here for this screen protector installation. So this is the screen protector that's included. It's plastic. Now the one that's actually pre-installed on the phone is glass. So you can see there's a glass one on here. So I suppose if you do break that, you can put the plastic one on, or put the plastic one on top of this if you don't like the slippery feel of the glass. The display below that is actually Corning Gorilla Glass 5. So this does have, as a rugged phone, has this military spec rating here put up on the screen in terms of durability. So obviously for the durability, it's going to be able to handle, your standard sort of drops and falls, that kind of thing, without breaking. Additionally, it is waterproof, IP68 and IP69K waterproof. So it should be able to handle, I think, what's at 1.5 meters in depth for, I think, 30 minutes. And it also means they can handle high pressure water. It's also dust-proof as well. So just taking a look around the phone here, you got a 6.58-inch display, 1080 by 2408 pixel. It's an IPS display, 480 nits of brightness. It is capable of up to 120 hertz refresh rate, and you can adjust it down to, I believe, 90 or 60 hertz in the settings. So this does come with 12 gigabytes of RAM, and it does have the ability to use virtual RAM. It's an Android feature, I believe. So you can add an additional 10 gigabytes for 22 gigabytes of total RAM. It also comes with 256 gigabytes of internal storage. You can add additional storage via this slot here on the side. It says TF SIM card. It can take up to 2 SIM cards at the same time. So you can do a dual SIM setup, or you can do a single SIM plus a micro SD card. And if you want additional storage, you can put up to a 2 terabyte micro SD card in this slot along with the 1 SIM card. The processor in here is a Helio G99 octa-core processor. So benchmark-wise, probably not as fast as like your latest generation Snapdragons out there, but it's going to definitely be able to handle most of your daily activities. Again, taking a look at the rest of the phone here on the side, you can see fairly, hefty phone here with a huge battery. I'll put up the dimensions here up on the screen, and weighs like 390 grams. So it's, not light, it's fairly heavy. I have a button here on the side. It's a custom button. You can set that in the settings to perform custom functions. Right now, it's not set to anything out of the box, default to nothing. On the right side of the phone here, you have your volume rocker and your basically unlock power button here. And also built into that is the fingerprint reader. So you can see here on the side, it's like a CNC aluminum here on each of the sides, on the right and the left. And then in the corners, you have this like kind of rugged plastic rubber material, obviously for handling bumps and stuff. This the rugged durability type phone. So this is going to be, probably ideally suited for those maybe working in a construction environment, somewhere it's really dusty, or some other environment where you possibly might be dropping the phone, and you don't want the phone to break that easily. This is definitely going to meet those needs. You have a cover here for the USB-C port here on the bottom. Obviously keep it waterproof, and it does have a reverse charging and on-the-go charging, so you can actually plug this, use the USB-C cable here and then plug it into another device and charge that up. And because the battery is so huge in here, the 10,800 milliamp hours, you can kind of use this as like a power bank. On the top here, nothing here. You do have stereo speakers on each side, so you get nice stereo sound when you're perhaps watching a movie or some sort of TV show or anything like that, videos, you'll get nice stereo sound on each side. Here's a look at the back. It does come in this color, this like a black color here, and it's also available in a gold and a silver trim here for the center part. The carbon fiber look here is, I think, a plastic part, but it does have this carbon fiber look. You have this big display here in the back, 3 cameras. So there's 3 cameras in the back and 1 in the front. So the one over here is a 50 megapixel main camera with a 90-degree field of view. You have a night camera here. I think these are all Sony sensors. So I'll talk about the cameras here a little bit in terms of quality in a second. And then the camera over here is a 16 megapixel wide angle camera. I think it's 130 degrees field of view on this one. And the camera in the front here is 32 megapixels and is also a Sony sensor. You do have a dual flash here in the back, and you can use that as a flashlight. And you have this 1-inch circular display. Double tap that and you can change the look of this display. So right now you have a clock, you have different clock faces that you can use, and then you can swipe left to right. You have a compass function, I believe, here. You have the music controller. You can use that as a camera controller. So there's a wide variety of different things you can change in here. These are just the default ones that are on the phone out of the box. So the battery life on this here is really, really good. Obviously, 10,800 milliamp hours. They're advertising about 3 to 5 days of normal use of basically from full to empty, which is pretty impressive for a large, 6.5-inch display phone. I used it for a couple weeks as my daily driver, and I actually got even more battery time. I think I got about 6.5 days before I had to charge it. The user interface on here is very responsive and snappy. All the apps work very quickly. I didn't have any delays or stutters. And I sort of compared it to my daily driver phone that I've been using for the last few years, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra here, in a fairly similar size. And in terms of the feel of the interface, being an Android 13 and everything, very similar. I didn't feel like it was slowing me down in any way. And kind of a way to look at this is like you have like these sort of 6-inch, 7-inch phones here, and then this one, the S110, is more or less like what you have basically like your sort of flagship phones with your normal size batteries, but instead of putting a case on, some people put a case with a power bank built into the case. And, having that is sort of kind of mimicking this ability. Basically, you can think of the S110 as a regular phone with a case protecting the phone along with a larger battery built in for more battery lifetime. So in terms of the quality of the display, the resolution is very good, of course. The refresh rate is actually better than my Samsung phone. And so if you're looking at this for like mild gaming, that kind of thing, I think this phone will handle that no problem. Of course, like super high-end gaming, obviously you want to be looking at, your flagship phones out there in the I think they're probably closer to $1,500 these days. This one here is not that. It's coming in at about $300 now on Amazon, so very reasonably priced for what you get from in terms of all the specs. But for me, I kind of like classic arcade games, or like sort of console games from like many decades ago, like Nintendo, and I found those games to work just fine with your typical emulators. In my case, I'm using RetroArch, and those games perform perfectly fine. Now, obviously, at the low price tag here of $300, I think where they have obviously cut corners is on the cameras. This is not surprising. I think that on the last year's model, the cameras were, not the greatest, and I think we have the same case here. So they have nice sensors. They all have these nice Sony sensors, but I guess the image processing or something is just not quite as nice as what you're going to find on your flagship phones, like on my Note 20 Ultra, or if you go to like the S23 Samsung, or even your Apple iPhones these days. They probably have the same sensors, but their image processing is just a lot better. The photos on here are not bad. They're pretty decent for photos, but the video is definitely under par compared to your flagship phones out there. So the most in terms of resolution you can get is 2K is the most you can get in terms of resolution. You can't even get 4K video, and the video quality is pretty, average at best. Like, it's passable for social media, but I think if you want to, put out some higher quality videos like on YouTube or Instagram, then these cameras definitely are lacking in that category. So yeah, I'd say overall pretty good phone with the exception of the cameras. It's probably not going to be for everybody. I think this is a very kind of a special use case of type of phone. I think if you're looking for a phone, you don't necessarily need the best cameras, but you do need some pretty good performance in terms of specs, good screen to watch videos, play a few games, that kind of thing. This phone's going to be able to handle all those things no problem. But do keep in mind it is a pretty heavy phone, so yeah, if you're carrying it around, doing your daily activities, it is noticeable, especially if you're holding the phone to play games, for example, that it can be pretty tiresome. So in my case, I'm using like a Bluetooth joystick to play some of my games, then put the phone on the desk. But like I said, again, this is going to be for those people that are looking for a rugged phone, much more durable, waterproof, etc. You're going to be using this in those environments where you need those capabilities, but not necessarily the best cameras. The price is very good, $300 for the specs and the features and the capabilities of this phone, I think are pretty reasonable. I'm going to put a link down in the video description if you guys want to check it out. I think you can get it at the DOOGEE store directly or Amazon. I think Amazon has currently the lowest price at around $295. That'll cover for this video. If you got any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.